So today we are going to be looking at e-business and collaboration. And before I started, I heard somebody say, talking about, the class rep talking about Zoom. What was the issue about?
Those who are able to present, there can be an issue where you don't be able to take. So
Okay.
them to attend themselves with the navigation of the Zoom.
Okay.
So that if they are also not,
They will be able to. Now, that is just a little aspect of collaboration. Collaboration basically refers to two or more people doing what? Working together in a seamless manner. Today's topic is going to touch on aspects of collaboration. We are also going to look largely on different aspects of organizational processes and how information systems or information technology can be used to improve it. Now, the crux of this today's lecture is to build on our understanding of what information systems are. And then we'll look at the types and how we can classify them. Basically, that's what we're going to do today. So the lecture may not travel the full course of 2 hours. Before we can do that, we will set some targets. We will try to understand what we mean by business processes and how they are related to information systems. So I am starting on the premise that we all know what information systems are. You remember the 5 components: hardware, software, data, people. So we want to find out what are business processes and how are they related to information system in the first part. Then we also understand how systems serve different management groups in an organization. And to do that, we'll use a basic management principle. We'll look at the hierarchy in an organization. That's one aspect. We'll also look at functionalities in an organization, and then we see how information systems can serve the different functional needs or the different hierarchical structure in the organization. Then we will also try to answer why information systems for collaboration and social business are important. Anybody here without a WhatsApp? There's nobody here without a WhatsApp. But many of us are wondering, anybody here who sells stuff on relying largely on WhatsApp? Is there anybody here who does? Okay. What do you sell? Phones? Boxes?
services.
Services. And usually, maybe you would update your status and then go to check who has viewed the status and possibly if you can contact the person. Most often, the people who have viewed your status would get in touch with you. Our reliance on social media to do business, social business, we refer to that as social business, and we'll look at how we can collaboratively rely on some of those. Then the last part will be the role of information systems function in a business. We can only understand or appreciate the role of the information systems function in a business if we understand the business processes. If we understand the business processes, one. If we understand the different business or functional areas in an organization, then we'll be able to understand the role of information systems in business. We'll start off by trying to answer the first part. What are business processes? What are business processes? So typically, in an exam, if you are asked a question like this, what are business processes? I won't ask a question like that in an exam. But if you are asked a question like this, as a matured student, it is difficult. At our age, it's difficult to learn by rote or learn by heart. So if they ask you a question, you cannot answer it. You start by doing what? Giving an example. Yes, you start by giving an example. So if I ask a question on what business processes are, and you give me an example, you can just raise up your hand and say, an example of a business process is buying airtime using Momo. It's a business process, isn't it? You have explained it. If you were to describe it without an example, maybe the clarity will not be that way. So I would want us to randomly give examples of business processes. Ordering KFC, it's an example of a process. So in your organizations, can you give an example of a business process? Yes. Ordering Bolt. Yes. Ordering Bolt. Everybody knows Bolt. Yes. Ordering Bolt. Any other business process? Ross. Yeah, buying power through Momo. Yes, very practical. Any other? Yes. Booking Flight tickets, booking a flight ticket. Okay, so our understanding of business processes are that if you look at all the examples we have given, for you to be able to complete that process, you would need to go through a number of what? Steps. So business processes are largely a number of steps, or a process basically is what? Series of steps, activities you would conduct to be able to complete a task. Now, when we relate it to business, number of steps or processes you will follow to be able to accomplish a business activity. That is what we refer to as a business processes. Usually it will involve the flow of material, the flow of information, or the flow of knowledge. Now, if you look at this part, the first point carefully, flow of material, flow of information, flow of knowledge. What can you relate it to last week's lecture? Can you relate it to something in last week's? Yes.
Yeah, technical and.
Okay. Yeah, it's inbuilt in there. Any other relationship? Yes. Processing. Yes. The input-output continuum. So if we are saying that business processes will involve the flow of materials, information, knowledge. A business process can also involve the flow of data, information, knowledge. So we are just building on what we did last time. Then business processes are logically related. They are logically related. One step leads to the other for us to be able to achieve a particular objective. Now, business processes may be functional. When we say functional, it may relate to a particular functional area. The functional areas in an organization are production, finance, HR, sales, marketing, and all of that. So it may be tied to just one particular functional area, or it may be cross-functional. So the advertisement of maybe a job vacancy, and if maybe let's use our application process, UDS application process, for you to be able to apply. There's a business process. You will first of all have to go to the bank, get a voucher, come fill, submit. Are you getting it? It affects different functional areas. Before your admission is issued, several functional areas are involved. If you look at the recruitment process, if you apply for a job, maybe to the accounts department, it is not necessary that your application will go straight to the accountants or the CEO for them to look at it. It will go through the HR and go through a number of processes. We are saying a business process may be cross-functional because instead of just limiting it to one particular functional area, different functional areas may be what? May be involved. So we can then say that the best way to explain or define what a business is or an organization is to see it from the perspective of different business processes. Based on that, we can confidently say that when we say a business or an organization, it can be seen as a collection of what? Different business processes. And remember that the different business processes may be related to specific functional areas or what? It may be cross-functional, okay? Then we also say that business processes may be assets or liabilities. Earlier this morning, we were talking about basic accounting. There are some business processes you would engage in, and it will lead to the release of either financial resources or some sort of resources from the organization. The organization will lose. Others too, the organization would gain. It is on this basis that we say that it may be assets or liabilities. When we are talking about functional areas, these are examples: manufacturing and production. Under manufacturing and production, a typical business process may be assembling a product. Sales and marketing, maybe identifying or looking for what? Customers. Finance and accounting, creating financial statements or recording in what? Journals, book of entry. Then human resources, hiring employees. And hiring employees is a big task. Advertising will come under it, selection will come under it, and all of that. Now let's look at a typical business process. The typical business process is the order fulfillment process. If you are going to order an item like buying airtime or buying credit, electricity from Netco, Let's look at a typical order fulfillment process. You would see that here one part will involve sale, another part will involve accounting, and another part will involve what? Manufacturing. That is, if we look at only one, then we say that that particular process relates to what? One specific functional area. But if we are looking at it holistically, then we say that it is what? Cross-functional. So let's look at this. If you are ordering, in terms of sales, you would have to generate the order, submit your order. Then the accounts department or the finance department will check. If you are going to buy it on credit, they will check your credit limit, your credit rating. Then they will approve and generate an invoice for you. You are buying on credit. Then manufacturing, they will assemble or manufacture a product and then send it to you. So when we are buying something, we are buying Momo credit or we are buying electricity credit, it cuts across several different functional areas. And that is just a typical example. Now, how would information technology improve the different business processes, either specific business processes or functional business processes? How would technology improve that? So let's look at a typical scenario in our individual organizations. Two main ways that information technology can improve business processes. Two main ways. Maybe the way you have been doing things, you just feel that the way the business landscape is evolving, you need some sort of technology to improve your processes. And to improve your processes, I mean, you are not entirely changing everything in the business. You just want to make sure that customers are now served better, products are delivered quickly, you work efficiently, productivity is increased. You just want to change some few steps. It may also be that you have just carefully examined your business and you have realized that for this business to survive, I need to change the business model. For this organization to survive, I need to change a business model. And changing a business model may mean that I have to bring in some kind of technology and abandon completely the old ways of what? Doing things. So we are looking at, yes. Yes. E-receipts, yes. And mobile renewal. Okay. We are talking about NHIS. Okay. Yes. How does that work? How traditional was it before technology came and improved it? We used to buy the receipt book from controller and accountant general. Okay. Yeah. If you are going, somebody is coming to renew. Okay, and use maybe some USSD code and then you renew. So how has the process changed? Okay, no overcrowding. Okay. Okay. And then delay. Delay is also removed. Yes. One other critical aspect of how information technology can improve business processes, some of the processes may be duplicated. But if you introduce technology, the redundant processes will be what? The redundant processes will be removed. This, yes. Account opening process in a bank. Okay. That 42 pages, but now using the online. And the online, you don't have to go through several tabs or several pages to be able to do that. E-payment of can you hear me? Okay. E-payment. School fee payment.
And there are some places that we have what we call the gift.
Okay, gift miss.
Of which we pay our suppliers through the e-payment.
Okay. Okay.
The supplier, you pay the details.
Okay.
And then you forward whatever you prepare.
Yeah, so if you are using the gift miss platform, no need to physically interact with the supplier. You pay them through that. This example will be very suitable for a particular point at the latter part of the lecture. So I'll come back to you. Your name, please. Say yes. The school selection or placement process, yes. Okay. Okay.
Register their names and then everything is manually done.
Now everything is computerized. Okay. Now, if you look at the school placement, I just want to talk on a lighter note. If you look at the placement process, it was supposed to remove redundant processes. And when redundant processes are removed using technology, the use of those traditional processes for the purpose of corruption is drastically reduced. Interestingly, in developing countries, we have found a way to always go around. We have, no matter how technology will improve the business process, we would find a way to be able to change. So we mentioned two critical points, either completely transforming the business model or the process, or you would change the processes incrementally. So increasing efficiency of existing processes by automating some of the steps and also making sure that things are properly streamlined. The second point is that when you introduce technology, you can enable an entirely new process. And that way you can even bring in a new business model. So if you tie it to last week, what we looked at, one of the key reasons why an organization may introduce an information system or invest in an information system would be what? The purpose of what? Survival. They want to survive. If you want to survive and you want to have a complete re-engineering of your business process, you may as well just adopt what? A new business model that the new technology will be able to support. So 2 points. How information technology can improve business process. Incremental steps or what? Transformational. It can either be incremental or it can be what? Transformational. Okay. Okay, so here's my marker. Traditional organization. In management, this diagram is often used to represent a traditional hierarchical organization. So we're going to have at least 3 levels. We will have here operational, or usually they will say tactical, right? Thank God. Operational. Then the guys at the top, the guys, the CEOs, so they are involved in what? Strategy, not so strategic management, or the CEOs. Then these people are the managers, right? So usually we may say this management, but these are actually the middle level managers. Now, we have been talking about information systems. From this point, we want to see how we can classify it, the information system. We can classify information systems based on the structure in the organization. So look at this structure. This is the top guy, the VC. In my case, the VC. In your case, the manager, the CEO. Then we have middle-level managers. Then we have the rank and file. Those are the very, very bottom in the organization, the operational. Let's look at what they do. This guy, he does one thing and one thing every day. The guy says, their tasks are routine. Routine. When they are going to work, they know exactly what they are going to do. Routine. The guys here, a bit non-routine. And they are the supervisors of these people. Middle-level managers. They are usually supervisors. Then the guys at the top, what do? Some of you are here. You are there, the top. I am somewhere here, middle. And some are also here. And some are not in the diagram. The guys here at the top here, they decide. The guys at the top here, they decide whether a branch should be closed down. Here, they decide whether a branch should be opened, a new product line should be introduced, a particular product line should be what? Discontinued. They take the decision. Without these guys have no job in management. Is that not it? Without these guys, so all the data that these guys will use for the strategic direction, vision, and achievement of the mission of the organization depends largely on the data generated by those at the bottom. In an organization, if there are data entry clerks, they'll be here. Data entry clerks, cashiers, they are also here. Operation managers, they are here in the banks. Then the manager, the top management, they are also here. Do you think that if we are introducing technology in an organization for either a transformational effect or incremental effect, the information system will serve all these needs, the needs of all these people? That same system one system will serve the needs of all these people. Would somebody say yes? Yeah, I'm expecting a mixed reaction. Depending on, we'll see soon, depending on the nature of what? The system. The system can serve everybody, or it may not. Are you getting it? So for instance, a typical example is the UCM, the University Campus Manager. That's the same system I am using as a lecturer. It's the same system you are using to log in to see whether you have paid or not. But when you log in, what you see, when I log in, I don't see that. I see more than what you see. You can see only your staff. I see all of you. And I see more detailed stuff than you see. So we are saying yes.
E-procurement using the CANEPS platform, it made the procurement more transparent.
Yes. With e-procurement using the Ghana platform, it has made e-procurement more easier. Later on, we are going to, and transparent. Later on, we are going to look at a system that would be used for the addressing the needs of a particular group outside this. Remember that using this group, there are no outsiders. But the organization is not existing in isolation. There will be suppliers, there will be customers. So what system will address their needs? That is where the Ghana platform he's talking about may come in. A supply chain management information system or a supply chain system will be able to address that. If we're also looking at customers, NETCO, VRA, customers, maybe a customer relationship or a bank, a customer relationship management system. But for now, we are concentrating on just internal. Routine, a bit routine, now routine, but this not routine. This guy, when he goes to work, he doesn't know what he's going to be confronted with. But it is based on the data generated by these guys that this guy can make the strategic decisions. So we are saying that when we are classifying information system, we can describe the types of information system based on the level the information system is going to what? Serve. Now, this operational level, let's contrast this operational level with here. There are people here who are working in sales, marketing. There are people here in finance, accounting, payroll, and whatnot. They are all here. Same people are also here. Some of them are also here. So you see that in the last slide, when we're talking about functional areas, we're talking about finance, we're talking about accounting, sales, marketing, HR, functional areas. We can also have an information system that will not serve any particular level, but it will serve a particular function. Not level, though. It doesn't matter whether you are the CEO or not. It's about what? Function. What do you do? Then the information system, you can use it for that purpose. So we are looking at two classifications here. Classification of information system based on hierarchy. And classification of information system based on what? Function. So the lecture is ended like that. So in an exam, we'll ask a question like, using a typical Ghanaian organization, identify or classify information systems and identify the various information system needs. So with this at the back of your mind, let's now see the types of information systems. There may also be systems that would just cut across, integrated in such a way that it doesn't really matter. All of this come bulked into one system. So traditionally, you would have heard of one of the most common accounting information systems, maybe Tally, Sage, or something. There are specific systems that do specific things. If it's an accounting software, it's just an accounting software. It cannot be used to address customers' complaints or integrate with supplier systems for us to be able to interact seamlessly. It does that thing only. But these days, there are systems that are so integrated in nature that all the functionalities in the business we're talking about is part of that system. So that depending on who logs in, depending on your access rights, then you'll be able to see something different, depending on where you sit in the organization or what you do. So we're looking at three things here. We're looking at systems that can be classified based on this. We're looking at systems that can be classified based on what you do. And we're looking at systems that can bring all of them together. So depending on what you are going to do, or depending on where you sit, when you log in, based on your access right, you can do whatever you want to do. So let's look at the types based on this one. Okay, so the first one, the guys at the bottom, the operator at the entrance of Melcom, the one operating the till, is here. And the type of information system they use is a TPS. A transaction is called transaction processing system. So somebody can be here, but can be a manager. Get me right. Somebody can be here, but can be a manager. But this particular manager's tasks are routine. Because you know those at the till, there will be somebody in charge of them. But the person doesn't fall part of. Maybe there's some supervisor here before another supervisor at this particular level. A TPS would typically perform and record daily routine transactions necessary to conduct business. Examples will be sales order entry. People come and you are recording. Now, an aside. All along, since last week, when we are talking about information system, we are particular about the type of information system. We are particular about the type because an information system can be what? Manual or what? Computerized. Should I repeat that? An information system can be manual or computerized. We said hardware, software, data, people, procedures. These are the components. We said this because our focus is on what? Computerized information system. In your office, if you don't have a computer and you have a cabinet, you have your pen, you have your files, folders, and whatnot. That is an information system, but it's not computerized. Are you getting the picture? Even to the extent that some researchers are saying that rumor mill. When I say rumor mill, you understand. Rumor mongering. That rumor mongering is some kind of an information system, in quotes. Because I give some story, it's not true. Then somebody picks it, change it. So maybe what I said about maybe some people were fighting outside there, and then somebody asked me what's happened. I said, oh, two people are fighting, one in red shirt, one on a motorbike. I'm just giving you the raw facts, and I pass. Then you come in and say, oh, you process it. Are you getting it? Then he comes, another person picks it. Tamale is a big rumor mill. We all know that. So, but in this course, our focus is on what? Computerized. So when we're talking about sales order entry, assuming it's a manual information system, you have your corner shop, people come, you have some small book there. When they come and buy, then you pick it. Yeah, this is the type of system you are maintaining there. A transaction what? Processing system. So that at the end of the day, when you go to the house to cook, later on you come back to the shop and you ask your little girl or boy to go home and you pick the book. Based on the entries, you can tell because the person is using what? A TPS. And then to allow managers to monitor the status of operations and relations with external environment. Which managers? Which managers are they talking about here? Maybe the guys here, or even a supervisor there. Okay. Then it serves a predefined structured goal and decision. It's used purposely for this. Predefined. That is why last week I hinted that when you go to Melcom to look for something and it's not there, you come back to ask the guy or the lady at the till. He or she may not have an idea. Then we also have another type, So we can have another type for this particular group, the middle level managers. Based on the reports from here, they are able to prepare short-term, medium reports for the top managers. They are able to aggregate the data that is here, they are able to aggregate it to be able to make some short-term decisions, not long-term, based on the data generated by. So we'll call that particular type of information system here as a management information system, MIS. So you go to an NHIS and they say MIS. I don't know if, the NHIS people. And they'll be referring to some guy there as MIS manager. The guy is here, somewhere here. Because there will be these guys under him who will be collecting the data and whatnot. If the head office needs some data, they will now talk to him and he will be able to produce that report. So we have one, a TPS, a transaction processing system. And then we have another one, a management information system. Okay. Then we can have just even here, still here, we can have what we also call, so here we have a TPS, we have MIS, we can also have a DSS, a decision support system. This guy needs to make some decisions. Maybe his bosses, even here. Remember we said that here, there may be some bosses. These guys also may have some bosses, and they may also need to make some decisions, relying on the medium to long-term reports here. So we can have an MIS here, we can have a DSS here. But the guy at the top who decides that based on the number of queries you have received so far, you should be fired, this guy. He relies on an expert system. And this particular expert system also relies on all of the information data generated by all these types of systems. So here, when he comes to work, maybe he would just go log in to the system and he's confronted with what we call a dashboard. So the dashboard will tell him the branches, these are the sales for all the branches. And then he will pick up his phone. Just based on that alone, he will pick up his phone and say, today is Monday. I've seen your targets and yours have gone down. Tell me why. He doesn't know this. He doesn't know that when the product finished at this level and you communicated, the system probably did not deliver the results for those who were supposed to supply. So he's not aware. Unless you now explain to him why sales slumped. If it's an improvement, it is only when he makes that call that you will be able to give him the details why sales has gone. So we may have an expert information system or an executive information system at the top. Anybody here who relies on a dashboard at this particular level here, we need a practical example. You log in, you are not confronted with the details, but summary data of what is happening in the past week, in the past month, in a particular branch about a particular product line. Anybody here? Yes. Each and every prisoner that is brought. Okay. 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 Did you hear that? I'm going to give a name to your system. Yes, a prisoner management system. Yes. So he's able to tell. Every day when he goes to work, he logs in, he can tell which prisoner is due for court, which prisoner is due to be released, which prisoner is due for this, due for that, how many came in, and who is due for what, either medical attention or whatever. He's able to tell. Similarly, when I log into the UCM, I can tell by program how many have applied for MBA accounting, MSc accounting. I can tell how many have paid. Are you getting it? But somebody in the office maybe the HODs, let me just move it a little bit down. The HODs cannot tell how many people applied for MIS if you are not an HOD for MIS. But I can tell how many applied for all the programs. Because when I log in, I'm confronted with a dashboard. And with some few clicks, I can tell, because the dashboard will give me some summary data. Then I can now call on my heads of department or coordinators and say that, look, we need to up our game in this area, or what is happening in this particular area. Similarly, when the results are uploaded, I'll be able to track how many results are uploaded, who has not uploaded which results. Okay, any other example?
Okay, I was in local unit manager for insurance. So I had sales staff under me. So daily, you can check the number of policies each sales staff has been able to register.
Okay.
And the amount and the type of policies. So you can have the total number of policies, and they can segment it if they are live policies that are like them or the other investment policies.
Okay.
Then at the end of the day, you can decide to engage them on where we are falling short. And all those.
Where will you place yourself here?
So that will be the middle.
Okay. It says you place yourself at the middle. Okay. Now, all these systems may also give us an opportunity to be able to make some decisions based on the data that is available. Typically, it would have been difficult for we as humans to sit down and analyze the data and come out with certain trends that the system will present to us to be able to aid our decision making. Have you heard of the term business intelligence? Business intelligence. Business intelligence. It's possible that with all the data you guys have used to apply for admission, based on some statistical or analytical software, I may be able to come up with some hidden trends that would not have been possible by my brain, based on the data you have supplied. The system. So we are saying that all of this may have some sort of system there to help support our decision making. So we will have a bit of this, which will have a functionality to be able to perform some business intelligence functions. Yes. We can call it a database, not necessarily. An example is Power BI. A database typically is what? You have stored different kinds of data of different varieties and volume in it. But we're saying that to be able to make meaningful decisions or discover trends hidden in the data, you need what we call a system for business intelligence. Are you getting it? Okay. So it's slightly different. Okay, now let's look at, we'll look at these three in detail. Management information systems. Management information systems. And we are saying that the people here are those who would be using a management information system, middle level managers. So to provide reports on the firm's current performance based on data from where? Here, the TPS, okay? To provide answers to routine questions with predefined procedures for answering them. So this guy has the guys here. The answers, sometimes the system may even present you with commonly asked questions and their answers. Facebook does that brilliantly. Commonly asked questions. Because of the data that is available on your page or your system, you may be able to do that. Okay? Then we are also saying that typically it will have little analytical capability, not much capability, little. Then let's look at this. How management information systems obtain their data from organizations. Let's look at the typical integration of a transaction processing system and a management information system when you order. So transaction processing, we're talking about the guys at the bottom, typically when you are ordering. order processing, materials resource planning. If it's a production entity, it means that before any item is manufactured or produced, materials will have to move from where? It will have to be requisitioned and it will move from stores to production. Now, these days there are intelligence systems. You just don't move things from store to the production unit. They may have an intelligence system, a material resource planning system, which will determine as and when materials are needed from the stores, the production unit would seamlessly communicate with stores, and stores would deliver. It may do that either internally or with external suppliers. Have you heard of the system called JIT? A just-in-time, JIT, J-I-T, just-in-time systems. So as and when stock levels move to a particular level, so maybe you are maintaining a material resource planning system, saying that in your stores, anytime your stock capacity reaches, usually we have a maximum level, we have a minimum level, and we have in between what? A reorder level. So that when your stock levels reaches the reorder level, the system may just trigger your suppliers to send in goods. So we can have an integrated system like that. Then the accounting will also have a ledger system for recording transactions. But all of this is done by those who are at the what? At the bottom. And the MIS guys would deal with issues that has to do with sales data, unit product or cost data. If they have to change product change data, and then the cost of all the materials, expenses, these guys will deal with that. And they are able to generate reports based on what? The management information system. So a typical report from the management information system may look like this. A typical report may look like this. So we have a product, we have product description, sales region, actual sales plan, and actual sales. Actual versus plan, to see whether there are variances, there are positive or negative variances. So when we are saying, well, you will hear me give an example of system. Your system may just be an Excel sheet. Is that possible? The kind of system you have, it may just be an Excel sheet, and you can use an Excel sheet to be able to do this. Remember that we are using a continuum. We are saying that at the very extreme, you can have a manual system, your filing cabinet, your flat file and folders and whatnot. At the other extreme end, you can have a highly computerized system. So in between, an Excel can do this, and that can be your system in your organization. Because with that, you can find the hardware there, because the Excel will operate using either a laptop or a desktop. The hardware is there, the software is there, Excel, you are there, the people, the procedures are there. Are you getting it? So when we are talking about MIS, we are not necessarily, or IS, we are not necessarily just thinking about some very, very complex system. Okay, we also talked briefly about decision support system which can also serve the middle level management, but may support some non-routine decision making. Example, what is the impact on the production schedule if December sales double? This particular system will be able to answer that. Now, before we made our admissions, we in the business who had our projections. If our projections are doubled, what could possibly happen? So maybe we can have some Excel sheets so that if we're expecting 50 and 100 people signed up, basically what we'll do is we'll just go and enter the 100, and the 100 will affect our costs, our expenditure, our revenue, and everything. Are you getting it? In that case, we'll be looking at what? A decision support system. So based on those figures, we'll now be able to make certain decisions. Either we should what? Change a venue, change a supplier for the launch, or abandon the program if we cannot handle it. Okay. Then we're also saying that a decision support system may use external information as well as a transaction processing system or a management information system. And the example someone gave about Ghana. Yeah, assuming you are dealing with suppliers who are far away, maybe South Africa, far away, but you have a material planning system which operates on a JIT basis, just in time. So as and when your stock levels go down, an alert is sent to your suppliers, and your suppliers are not within the organization. So we're saying that a decision support system may use what? External data. So you may rely on external data to be able to inform certain decisions in the organization. Another example of a decision support system may be a voyage estimating system. Ships. When a ship sails off from UK or Hong Kong, we are able to tell how long it will take the ship to reach Ghana. So your delivery package, when you track it online, you have shipped a car, you'll be able to tell that, oh, 3 weeks time, it will be here. It is based on such systems that such estimations are able to be conducted. Then the last one would be the executive support systems. The executive support systems that support senior management and addresses non-routine decisions. We say that decisions are non-routine because it requires judgment. It requires judgment. We say it requires judgment because, look, all data may point to the fact that a particular product line should be what? Discontinued. Based on the data, that this particular product line, we continuously have made losses for 3 years. Based on that, you say that, okay, let's discontinue it. But as a manager, because this particular level, you make non-routine decisions and it involves judgment, other external factors which are not captured by the system may influence your decision as a manager. Later on, we'll be talking about knowledge management system. Maybe previously, you have encountered a scenario in a different organization with a different product. And instead of discontinuing it, you just push a little harder. Maybe increase advertising campaign, more engagement with suppliers, more customer and supplier intimacy, and maybe the product picks up. So based on that experience, you may say that, well, though the data says that this particular product line should be discontinued, based on my past experience, I feel that we should give it just 1 more year to see. It is because of the judgment, and then this judgment may largely depend on what? Your experience as a manager. But the guy at the bottom, he hasn't got that luxury to do that, to use his judgment to change things. But you at the very top, using our executive support system, the data is presented, but you still feel that based on your experience, based on your knowledge, the product line should continue. The branch should not be what? It should not be closed down because you would have evaluated a lot of things. And because of your insight in the area, you may push that it shouldn't be discontinued. And a lot of that will also involve the use of what? External data. External data. One of the favorite areas for exams, types of information systems, and the different categories they serve. So I mentioned earlier, the use of dashboards by those people. Digital dashboard with real-time view of firms' financial performance. With the people at the top, when they log in, with few clicks, they are able to tell how much sales was made, how much profit we are making, how much losses we are making, how many items have been sold. They can easily do that. But when we have these different types of systems, either serving different management levels or different functionalities, it comes with a lot of disadvantages. Some disadvantages. So organizations have moved away from just standalone or legacy systems to integrated what? Systems. Integrated systems. So we'll look at some of them. And enterprise applications are systems which are used to link the entire enterprise. So we will not say that because we have a sales department, we'll go and buy a customer relationship management or a sales software. Or we have an accounting department, let's buy accounting software. Then later, when we need other system for another function, we'll go and buy it. When we do that, the systems will be what? Stand alone. They will not be able to talk to each other. Let's talk about elections just a little bit. The last elections, how NDC organized or collated their data. Do you think all their data talked to each other comprehensively? Yeah, so it was difficult for them to tell. But if they did it, I think I've given myself up by saying that if we. You understand? Eh? Okay. So I'm saying it in quotes because I'm a Ghanaian.
And because you have IT, So the IT
Uh-huh.
family.
So you get the picture. So these particular systems will span all the functional areas, but not limited to only one functionality. Not limited to only one functionality. And to execute different business processes across the organization, and then to include all the levels. There's a diagram that clearly explains that. So under that, we're going to look at 4 applications under enterprise applications. Enterprise, what we call enterprise resource planning system, ERP. Have you heard it before? ERP, enterprise resource planning systems. They also have supply chain management system that will address the GANEP issue. Then we have customer relationship management systems, banks, telecos, and then we have knowledge management systems. I'm very much interested in the last one, the knowledge management systems. Let's take our minds back. Data, information, and what? The next one is knowledge. You see the continuum. You have data. It's transformed into what? Information. The information if the information is very well assimilated with your experiences, your insight, then we have knowledge. Now, when people are in the organization and they have been there for several years, 20 years, and they later retire or leave the organization, what may be the impact on the organization? Look at Sidin Ketia. Several years experience in political engagements. Now step down as secretary and wants to be what? Chairman, if he didn't get it. With all the several years knowledge he has acquired, is there a way that we can rely on technology to document this? The experiences of people, the insight of people. We can have knowledge management systems that can help document this in an organization. And you can do it in a very interactive way. You can create an organizational platform where people can interact freely and share their views on issues, and you save it. So that later on, when you are in that person's position, you can easily refer to the view of that person or the insight of that person, and it can guide your decision making. But many organizations don't do that. That is why sometimes this happens a lot in banks. Somebody will be in a particular bank, and another bank will want to poach the person. Does it still happen? Yeah. The banks do that a lot. And then the current bank will offer higher salary. Why? Because they know that if this guy leaves, there may be the guy has worked there for a very long time and has gathered some experiences. He's knowledgeable in certain things and has got some informed insight. If he leaves, they're in trouble because he's going to start working there and applying that knowledge. So basically what they will do is they will increase your salary. Complementary assets. You remember last week? Because they see that as a complementary asset to certain things in the organization. If you leave those things, there may be a slump in sales, a reduction in productivity, a reduction in what? Profits, financial performance. So, enterprise resource planning systems. This is a typical architecture of an enterprise application. If you look at it carefully, you will see here at the bottom, these are the functional areas we were talking about earlier. You have sales and marketing, manufacturing and production, finance and accounting, and human resources. But we also said that another way you can classify the information system is what? By looking at the hierarchy, right? So you see that some people will be at the top. Look at the colors. The guys at the top are here. There are some here, and there are some here. But when we are talking about an enterprise application or an ERP, it will serve all the structure this way, horizontally, and what? Vertically. All the functional areas are served by this oval, and then the system will also serve all the different, from top to what? Bottom, different levels in the organization. So you see that with a supply chain management system, the system will be able, is integrated in such a way that they will be able to communicate with their suppliers and other what? Business partners. Then a customer relationship management system, they'll be able to communicate and deal with their customers and other what? Distributors. But if you look at it in between, all the different processes can be dealt with by this hierarchical structure and also the horizontal one. And that is the integrative nature of what? An enterprise resource planning system. any example of an enterprise, a common enterprise resource plan, say Microsoft or Dynamics. Anybody who uses a system in their organization, such that there's only one software in the organization. The accountant uses it. The manager uses it. The branch manager uses it. Yes. Yeah. NIA. Okay. How does it work? Okay. So listen carefully. It deals with the applicants, the employees, and management. So let's place them. Employees. The employees will fall here. Right? And management will fall here. But there are also applicants, and applicants will fall where? Either here or here. No, here. There will be customers, not so. But there will also be suppliers, maybe those who supply the plastic cards, those who supply other materials which makes the NIA's work seamless. They may also be here. So that is a typical example. What is the name? You call it EMS. Okay. Any other? Yes. F12. Huh? Falcon. Okay, so Falcon 12. Okay. HAMS, yes. Anybody here who use HAMS? Health? Is it health? Health Administration Management. Excellent. Yes. Finacle. Which organization? Stanbic. You have finished. You people have finished your term paper. So the term paper for the 40 marks is going to center on a system in a typical organization. Yes. Yes. So if you are working in a bank, you are working with the prison service, the police service, then the term paper would ask you to examine this, or GES, to examine the systems that are being used. You start off by thinking of a problem that exists in the organization and how that system came to solve that problem. That is what your term paper will be for 30 marks. Yes. So, yes. No, I didn't get that. Yes. It's for, yes. Yes, this one is 10. Yes. Eh? Eh? Who struggled to get 60 marks? Yes. Yeah, so if you get 20 from the exam and add, you are gone. And basically, the purpose of this particular course is to is not to show you how to use a particular technology, but to open your eyes to the fact that you can use technology to increase efficiency, productivity in your organization as a manager. And I always tell my colleagues, if you are finding it difficult to do a particular task, Google it. The technology to help you do that will be there. But if you don't know, as a manager, you will always be asking people to come and use your laptop to do something. That's how come your documents will leak. Yes. People will be outside and they know exactly what you are doing. Okay, so now I want us to look at collaboration. When we say collaborate, what do we mean? And I have been using this joke for a very long time. When SHS 1 from JHS, we had an accounting master. We call that accounting master, not lecturer, accounting master. First day of lecture, this guy comes in front of the class and he asks us what accounting is. From JHS, accounting. So we're just sitting looking at him in Tamasco. If you were fortunate to go to Tamasco, then you would have met him. Arab Chang Tamasco. The way you are looking at me, you didn't get the opportunity to go.
Some of them.
Okay. The only school in the north. That's why I'm saying if you were fortunate. I must have. The only school. From where? No. So this guy comes, stands in front, and then you ask, what is accounting? Well, Nino's was sitting looking at him. He said, to understand accounting, you must understand first what a transaction is. So what is a transaction? We're still looking at him, and he says a transaction means to transact. And accounting means to account. So I'm doing that same thing today. What is collaboration? To collaborate means to... Collaboration basically looks at two or more people just teaming up and working together. Two or more people working together. Yeah, this one's very easy to follow up. Customer relationship and then knowledge moving now. Explain that. So before we look at collaboration, this thing is very important. Let me explain something. Looking at the diagram we presented, there were two external parties. Do you remember that? The customers. Exactly. So within the organization, there was something like this. So we had something like this, and then something like this, where suppliers were here and customers. The diagram was basically drawing our attention to the fact that there are internal and external stakeholders. Now, have you heard of the term local area network, LAN? And then, okay, wide area network. Okay, very self-explanatory. The internal stakeholders, which one do you think they are going to rely on? The local. And the external, what will they rely on? So when we are talking about a network, when we are talking about connectivity, we are basically reducing it to these two, internal and external. Now, let me ask a funny question. Where will the internet fall? Okay. Wide. Okay. Wide. So these guys, which one will they rely on? Customers and suppliers, to be able to have an integrated system with those within the organization. Let me take it again. Here, with the suppliers, we're saying that we can have a materials planning system, which may be in the form of a just-in-time system. So that when stock levels reach reorder level, they will be alerted and then they will supply. Customer relationship, if a customer's product has a problem, the customer can seamlessly also communicate. But remember that with the customer and the supplier's communication, it's external to what is happening in the organization. So the system should be in such a way that it can integrate with the outsider system for that communication to be what? Seamless. Are you getting it? When it is local, just within, we will have the first one. We're going to look at technology. So internet network based on internet standards. And then the company website accessible only to authorized vendors or suppliers. So the first one, extranet, vendors and suppliers, supplier, vendor. So the company would have its system, but it has opened it up to these people to be able to have a little bit of access to this. So if we're looking at intranet and extranet, local and wide area, again, I'm going to ask my question, where would the internet fall? Don't answer, Prosper. Where would the internet fall? Remember that the first one, they're also saying that it is also based on internet standards. Where would the internet fall? The question again. We are saying that, just look at this. Internal networks, intranet is an internet network based on internet standards, often a private access area on a company's website. So we are saying that this is limited just within the organization. Then this one, accessibility is given to authorized vendors and what? Suppliers. Where would the internet fall? It will still fall under, okay. Then both. Then what is the internet? What is the internet?
Because it is
So the link of networks.
internetworks.
Oh. Okay. Is it now? Let me ask a question. Is it possible that my question is going to give away my answer? Is it possible that without the internet, these guys can have access? Is it possible? You cannot answer. It's not possible. So the technical guys, is it possible? Without the internet, can the outsiders have access? Okay. Okay. Huh? NHIS, without the internet, using what? On the internet. The lies. So I'm coming. If you don't have data, we have got to where so if you don't have data, but your device still needs to connect to a particular network, despite the lack of what? Data. Are you getting it? So it's not using your data, but it still needs to connect to, because this one is what? International what? Network is global. This network is global. Okay. There are other terms I'm going to introduce. We pause a little bit of. Yes, somebody has just a minute.
Global networking between.
Okay, he's explaining the. Yeah, when I ask, okay, he's spot on. Okay, I like that. The ruling on. So yes. What is the ruling? Can you, without internet, can you access?
That is integrated with our system. So without our internet, our system having access to the internet, they cannot reach our system. So thereby, if you are using SMS, the short code, you can't buy power because we don't have internet.
Okay.
So it means the system still rely on internet to operate.
But not your connectivity to the internet as a customer. But their system must be connected, right? That's what you are saying. Yes. Is that okay? Later on, we'll also try to distinguish between you having network access and you having access to the World Wide Web later. When you say, well, I am connected, but nothing is coming. And you go and check your data. Data is there one day, but still, later, we'll look at that. Still based on this connectivity, these terms are important for our understanding. And we'll later on in subsequent lectures build on some of them, especially the aspect of electronic business. What is e-business? Yes, doing business electronically, okay. Or in short, Baumia. That's why it's. How different is that from e-commerce? E-business. He says doing business electronically. I think your definition is very close to my accounting lecturer's definition of things. Doing business electronically. Okay. How different is that from electronic commerce? We know what commerce is. Buy and what? Sell. But commerce may go beyond just buying and selling. When you are providing customers with awareness, of potential products is also part of what? It's also part of e-commerce. Yeah, electronic system of buying and selling. So that's e-commerce, right? How different is e-business from e-commerce? Yes. You don't need to have a physical shop. Okay. Okay. Okay, I partly agree. Any other? Look at this. The functional areas are here. Sales, accounting, and whatnot, and HR. We are getting there. So you have sales, you have HR, you have accounting, and whatnot. But somebody just said e-commerce is what? Providing product information, buying, selling. It may not involve other aspects of the functional areas of the organization. Which one is bigger than the other? Which one is bigger than the other? We're saying that e-business involves all the functional areas: hiring of employees, accounting, using technology, marketing, customer relationship, and supply chain, and any other functional area. But e-commerce, buying, selling, providing product information. Which one is bigger than the other? Which one is a subset of the other? Okay. So we'll come to the issue of collaboration. When we say collaboration means to collaborate. Collaboration can be short-lived or what? Long-term. Just right now, what we're doing is collaboration. We are collaborating face-to-face, and then the use of what? Zoom. That's why when I came in and somebody mentioned, I was a bit interested in it. It can also be formal or informal. These are things we know already. Growing importance of collaboration because of the changing nature of work. The way we used to work has changed tremendously. And so there's a need for us to rely on different kinds of technology to be able to work in a more virtual and more engaging way. Then the growth of professional work. There are some jobs now you can apply for and you don't need to move. You can be here and be working for a company in the US. Yeah, the growing nature of professional work. You can get a job here, you're working. Every day you deliver whatever you are supposed to deliver. And go on to do other things because productivity is not based on how long you stay in the office, but what task you have been able to complete, and many others. Also the changing nature of the organization. Several years ago, about 10 years ago, if you had a PhD online and you bring it to a university, they will say, online PhD. And we used to look down on them. Today, look at what we are doing. People are far away and they are part of this lecture. Nobody will question their certificates if they graduate, because we have now come to realize that offering education through this means is as effective as just doing it face-to-face. So these are some of the reasons why collaboration is important. Then I also talked briefly about social business, the use of social networking platforms to engage employees, customers, and suppliers. We all know Sharp, don't we? Sharp. The organization Sharp. Sharp is a product line, but there's a corporation called Sharp. Sharp. Sharp TV. Sharp TV. That's what I mean. Sharp. Japanese, right? Is it Japanese? Is Sharp Japanese? I think it's Japanese. Sharp is a subsidiary. Sharp is a subsidiary of Foxconn. I think that's the name. About 20 years ago, productivity, profitability, everything was slumping, going down. Relationship with top level management and middle and lower level management was autocratic, top down, command driven. So we tell you what to do, you do it without question. And it affected productivity so much. When they realized in 2013, they adopted a new technology to be able to collaborate and work better. They adopted Yammer. Have you heard of Yammer? Yammer. A networking, organizational networking platform by Microsoft, I think, in 2013, so that employees could interact with each other easily. It doesn't matter whether you are the CEO, anybody. It's like having a WhatsApp platform in your organization. You can say anything, but WhatsApp platforms that still will not bring that command structure. You know, there are some WhatsApp platforms, if your boss is there, you can't say anything. So the employees will leave that platform and go and create another one and be talking about everything that's going on in the organization because the boss is not tolerant. So they adopted this app and created a culture of what? Tolerance. Working together. Anything at all you want to say, you can say it. And with that, they were able to transform their fortunes around. This is an example of the use of collaborative technology. These days, many of us engage in buying and selling e-commerce without using any app. We just use WhatsApp. Yeah. Now, everybody in the class, if you have saved their numbers, you have something to sell and you put it on your WhatsApp and they view, they may be interested. They'll get in touch with you. You sell it. You are conducting what we refer to as what? Social business. Was WhatsApp designed to conduct social business? Africans. We adopted it for the purpose of what? Social business. Any other app that you think is used for social business?
Telegram.
Facebook.
Telegram.
Telegram. Instagram. TikTok. Recently, TikTok. And it's driving people crazy. Have you seen that woman? I don't know whether she's Nigerian. There's one woman who always comes on TikTok saying how much money she's making. Have you seen that woman? So elderly woman, and she will be doing stuff, and anytime I see that, I shake my head and say, "Oh, say Dallas." I think she's Nigerian. Dallas. Okay. Yeah, business benefits of teamwork and collaboration. All these are self-explanatory things you know. Investment in collaboration technology can return large rewards, especially in sales and marketing. The emphasis is on sales and marketing because here we are most interested in what? Customer relationship management. It is only here that you will have repeat customers. When we say repeat customers, people come to buy things from you and they are happy and willing to come back. When you use customer relationship management systems to collaborate effectively, you will have repeat customers. It can also lead to increase in productivity. If you resolve problems, look, the problems you guys have, if we always resolve it. First day of election, second day, somebody contacted me and was like, and forwarded a feedback from somebody who was here. Somebody chatted you, one of you, forwarded it to me. They said, oh, that we did well first day. They hope it will continue. So we are putting in more effort to increase productivity and serve you better because we want you to become what? Repeat customers as well as ambassadors for what? For our program. You know, I don't lose opportunity to market. I will never do that. Then there's also the issue of quality, faster resolution of quality issues. If we use better collaborative technologies, we'll be able to do that better. Innovation, more ideas for products and services. These are the business benefits. And customer service complaints handled more rapidly. The NEDCO people, the VRA people do that. But that VRA line, you call it 10 times, nobody will answer. Then financial performance. All of this is geared towards what? Increasing revenue. Huh? Yeah, so requirements for collaboration. I want us to look at a particular diagram. requirements for collaboration. The last point in the last slide was financial what? Performance. There was also the issue of what? Productivity. All of that, all of the points we looked at leads to firm performance. But how can we achieve firm performance? To be able to achieve firm performance, the way we collaborate, the quality of our collaboration should be what? Heightened. It should be enhanced. And we can only enhance that by looking at two main factors. So this diagram is basically saying that in order to have effective collaboration or good collaboration quality, you need the capability to be able to what? Collaborate. What are the capabilities for you to be able to collaborate? You should have an open culture. You are in a WhatsApp platform, you are the CEO, and people are afraid to say things. Yeah, so you must have an open culture. Apart from that, a decentralized structure. The traditional structure is this one. Somebody is at the top, somebody is at the middle, and somebody is at the bottom. So even on that platform where you want to collaborate, you still see this structure there. It means communication will still be what? From top to bottom. People will be scared to say certain things. Then the breadth of collaboration. We say collaborate. You have an open culture. But when we want to collaborate, the managers will still go and be talking to each other. So the breadth is not decentralized in a way that those at the bottom will be able to open up and tell instead of grabbing maybe the watchman to go and sit on the table, the CEO will not do that. But sometimes those at the bottom, they have critical information, yes, about what is going on in the organization. When we have the capability, we need the what? The technology, the collaboration technology. These days, there are several collaborative technologies. We are using one currently, Zoom, email, cloud platforms, storage platforms like Google Drive, Microsoft Teams, so many collaborative technologies. Yes, so this. And as we go on, you guys did research before this class. A lot of the things we discuss here try to relate. It is not coincidence that you do research and come and do this course, or you do research the first day. It is not coincidence, and it's not also a coincidence that research methods will be a first trimester course. Because a lot of the things you do, you will have to relate it to so that you can have a better insight to be able to choose a very relevant topic. This can be a topic. You want to look at how the collaborative capability in an organization, alongside a particular kind of technology, improves organizational what? Performance. And you want to see the mediating effect of what? Collaboration quality. So with this, any organization, anybody, this can be adapted for any organization. And then you now try to find out what can you use to measure collaboration quality. So you now look at the organization. In that bank, is there an open culture? In that bank, decentralized structure, is a manager doing everything? In that organization, breadth of collaboration. Then you look at the technology. What kind of technology is the organization using? Was the technology acquired outside? Was it built in-house? All of this will influence this, and then it will lead to that. This. Okay. How do we build a collaborative culture? We have spoken a little bit against command and control organizations. Sharp was operating a command and control organization, and they ran into troubles. That's why they adopted a more open culture by adopting what? YAMA. Yes. Collaborative business culture, senior managers rely on teams of employees. So they will engage. The team of employees can be security. The top can come and engage with them. Policies, products, design, processes, and systems rely on what? Teams. Teamwork is very, very important. Which tools can we use to collaborate? We have mentioned some of them. Email and instant messaging, text, WhatsApp. Wikis. Anybody who knows what a wiki is? Anybody here? Some people here can build a website, they can code. But wikis give those who are ninos in web development an opportunity to be able to go to a particular website and also add something, either a text or maybe graphic, depending on the nature of that website. It will give you the opportunity to also add some content to it. So a typical example of a wiki is what? Wikipedia. Have you ever wondered how the content comes about? Who puts it there? Anybody. You can also go there and contribute to you can modify what is on there. So if somebody has written something about the people of Changle, that they throw stones a lot, they attack policemen and whatnot, you can go there and edit it. It will be reviewed. So as and when people find something faulty or they need to update, they go there and update it. So the information you pick from wikis at a particular point in time may not be totally what? Accurate. That is why later on, when you start your research, we will discourage you from relying on Wikipedia to write, because everything there may not be what? May not be true. Then virtual worlds. Anybody here who plays games? How do we collaborate? Anybody here? Eh? Yeah, we can all adopt a virtual representation of ourselves and work together online. So your picture is not there, you will create your virtual representation called an avatar. I think these days, WhatsApp gives you the opportunity to do that. Create an avatar, a virtual representation of yourself. So you'll be talking to somebody, you don't know the person. Yeah, Snap. Anybody here? Snap, ladies. There are different ways to collaborate using. Yeah, so there are different ways to collaborate. Virtual meetings using cloud collaborations, using Google Drive. I can put, some of you have iPhones. You use what? iCloud. You can put things there, share the link with somebody to have access to. Now, the last part. The last part. We want to look at how time and space can affect collaboration. Time and space, how it can affect collaboration. As we are in this class right now, the time is 3:10. But somebody is in Moko and he's part of this class. Somebody's in Wa and he's part of this class. So we are basically looking at two things there: physical presence and time. The time is the same time, but the location is what? Different. But we are collaborating because of what? Technology, this particular technology. I am also collaborating with those of you who are here. And in terms of the time-space matrix, we are looking at the same time, the same space, the same place. Are you getting it? The same time, the same place. But with those online, the same time. Can you think of another alternative? There are 4 options. We have just looked at 2. The same time, the same place. The same time, different place. What other option can we have? Different time, different place. Is that possible? Any example? Different time, different place. If somebody is in the US, somebody is in the US and joins. Yeah. Yeah? Yes. Different place, different time. An opportunity escaped me because of this time and space lapse. I was scheduled for an interview and I misunderstood the time. Not knowing it was around 2 a.m. And that was at 9 a.m. So I slept, snored, and got up, put on my suit and arranged myself, and I was sitting in front of my every time came and passed, no show. That's when it dawned on me that I would check your email. So I went and checked my email. They said they have been waiting and waiting and waiting. And I never showed up because I didn't consider the time zone. Any other? The same place, different time. How can that happen? Some countries, okay. So let's look at this diagram to conclude our lecture. Time, space, collaboration, and social tool matrix. So here we have different place, remote, same place. So this portion is about place, and this one is about what? Time. Then the first one, we have same place, same time. Face-to-face interactions, decision room, single display, groupware, shared table, wall displays. Where are we? Wall display, right? So we are here. Then we can also have different time, same place. Same place, different time. Continuous task. And that can involve the use of team rooms, large public display, shift work, groupware. And how anybody who can give a more practical example of that? Same place, different time. How can that work? The same time. Okay, you are doing same place. Okay. The same organization. But they are at different times. The previous slide, we talked about virtual wells will come into play. And we said you can be here and be working for an organization in the US. So if you're in Ghana, they can schedule a meeting. And that meeting, the same organization, but your Ghana time maybe 6 a.m. and their Atlanta time may be different. Then we also have different place, same time. Yes. Okay. So video conferencing, instant messaging, and whatnot. Then the last one, different place, different time. When you send someone an email in the US and he doesn't check, then later he checks. You are in Ghana, the person, you are in Ghana, different place. He's in the US. You have sent, he has not checked. He checks 3 hours later, different time. Or Australia. Any question? So, what are the benefits of collaboration? I thought I was going to do 1 hour. It's 3:15. I can't believe it. Huh? Enhance teamwork, yes. Increase productivity, efficiency. Yes. Now, one big takeaway I want to leave with you would be 2 things. This whole topic was about 2 things only: types of information systems and collaboration. And the types of information systems, we looked at the types of information systems in 2 ways: classifying them in terms of where you sit in the organizational structure, or classifying it based on what it does. That's one. Then the other part was collaboration. And we looked at the benefits, business benefits of collaboration. But we realized that in order to have increased productivity, better customer service, improved performance or whatnot, everything relies on the collaboration quality. And 2 things determine collaboration quality. These are, okay, but it will come under open culture. If the culture is not open, the boss will think that he knows everything and he wants you to fail so that he will rebuke you. So there's no open culture and there will be no knowledge sharing. But open culture comes under something. Yes, decentralized system comes under something. There was a diagram. Collaboration. The takeaway must happen Yes. It's a major takeaway for me. Collaboration.
It's added to the collaboration.
Yes, he's right. Yes. The technology is on one side. He's jumping the gun. This guy. Yes.
Culture. Collaboration culture.
It's open culture. Okay. I'm not going to show the slide. We are looking at two things, and the two things lead to, yes. Teamwork, I think it comes under one of those. You didn't draw it. There were two leading to quality and then performance. I'll bring it back so that you don't forget it. It's loving collaboration capability. So there must be an open culture, decentralized structure, breadth of collaboration, and the technology. You combine this. So you see that. Which concept can, in the first lecture, can you relate this to? Let me carve my question in a different way. If you invest in collaboration technology or collaborative technology, investment in collaborative technology does not guarantee collaborative quality. True or false? Yes, it does not. You must invest in a complementary asset. What will be the complementary asset here? What will be the complementary asset? In order to achieve collaborative quality, you must invest in two things: collaborative technology and a complementary asset. What is a complementary asset? Collaborative capability. So you can invest all you have, all your money, license Zoom account, license whatever, but there's nobody in the organization to use it. Or the top echelon of the organization, they won't allow you to use it. So there's a Zoom account, but they won't give it to you. Someone will say, gee, are you getting it? They have subscribed to the best of collaborative technologies, but they have kept it to themselves. It's only when the managers are going to have a meeting, then they will now use it. When the watchmen are going to have a meeting, they won't allow them to also do Zoom. Are you getting it? So there's no open culture. Meanwhile, you have procured, let them also feel that they are part of the technology. So you have a staff meeting and you tell the security guys, you can join via Zoom. Once you are sitting at the gate, excellent. That way, you will have an open, if you don't have an open culture, you can't do that. Because you feel, security, how can you use it? But forgetting that everybody uses a smartphone these days, even if they are like my people, they will give you the phone and say, you have number get me this number. So even with that, they will still give it to people to connect to them. But for them not to leave posts and still take part in a meeting and contribute is an example of an open organizational culture, which contributes immensely to collaboration capability. This and that leads to this. Take this serious, because the crux of collaboration relies on what? This. We all know the different kinds of collaborative technologies, but we must understand that without the capability, the technology is what? Useless. That is how come an organization will procure technology and not use it. They will procure technology, but even people in the organization are not aware, because the top guys are only interested in their 10%. Once they get it, technology is redundant. Nobody talks about it again until there is another procurement cycle. You buy another one. This brings us to the end of today's lecture. So what I will do, last week I promised that I will bring the term paper, but I felt that I may scare you. At least I've given you an idea what the term paper would be about. So you can start talking among yourself, whether you do it in groups of say 5 or individually. The groups leads to free riding. There will be free riders. But I usually go for the groups because that's when you can, we're talking about collaboration. That's when you can get to know each other. Because next session, when everybody moves to their option, you interact again. So I would urge that when I share it, you identify each other, maybe groups of 5, so that you can work on it. Free riders will be identified. All right. Well, all right, okay. So, all right, thank you very much. Then we'll meet next week.